We've all been in a work rut once in a while. Well, even the ladies from Sex and the City get into a work rut. Let's take a look.
Sit down, please, and have some breakfast.
I can't. I had this presentation today, and I'm sick to my stomach. I used to love going to work, and now I'm sick at the thought of it.
Here. 2 bites.
Thanks, Magda.
You don't have to keep putting yourself through this. You can quit.
I'm a lawyer. That's who I am.
Life's too short. Go someplace where they appreciate you, and until you find a better job, you can be home and help out around the house.
I've waited too long to get here. I just have to suck it up.
Well, then she does suck it up. We all have to suck it up at work because you got to make a living. Well, we've got some tips on how to make you a little bit happier at work.
Yes, and here with us is life coach JJ DiGeronimo, and you're going to give us some great tips to help us all when those times get a little rough at work.
And they happen to all of us, really.
The expectations are high because I think 99.9% of the people out there watching are unhappy at work for most of their work days, don't you think?
Well, I hope it's not that high. I hope it's not that high. And I think we talked last time about making friends at work, and today we're going to talk about really trying to do things in the office to get more excited about what you're doing and maybe find new ways to engage.
Yeah, so what are some of your top tips, like right out the gate? Because I know you have tips put together to help people when they feel that rut coming on.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to look at what you're doing, right? I mean, to your point, I mean, you cannot go through it. You spend so many hours at work, you can't possibly hate going there every day. So some of the tips we're going to go through are when you're in the office, but if there's a bigger issue at hand, it's something you do have to address.
Yeah, well, before we do get to the tips, I apologize. What are some of the main reasons, the common reasons that people are unhappy at work?
Well, they don't like what they're doing. They don't like who they're doing it for. They don't like the management structure. I mean, those are some of the things. And some of those things you need to look at yourself and kind of look about what you're having to offer. Do you have to maybe enhance your skill sets or maybe look at doing some other things in the office than what you're doing? And so it does take a plan, depending on where you are and where you want to go. It does take a plan to figure out how to get there.
Now, moving on to the tips. The first one is actually brainstorming.
Right.
Explain, please.
Right. So, you know, with your team and groups of people you're working, sometimes you just get in a rut. The energy is low. So you really want to get the energy higher and getting together and saying, okay, what are we doing now? How can we make it different? How can we engage new resources or new activities so that you can actually get more excited about what you're doing? I think some of us sit in our office so much and work on our task list, and it drains us sometimes. You got to get out of your office and work with the people around you and really start to motivate each other.
Now, one of the tips you talk about is not working through lunch. I know my daughter just got this new job, and she's trying to impress everyone and be overzealous, and she just stays there and works right through lunch and maybe grabs a power bar. But you say that's not a good idea. And why is that?
And women do that a lot. I think men are better at getting out of the office, but work is about relationships, and getting promoted is about people that you like and enjoy being with and that have this ability to move forward. So you've got to get out of the office to build those relationships. Work is about relationships. Life is about relationships. Get out of the office and do things to build those relationships for your network to evolve your career.
It's easier said than done because then your competition, if they work through lunch, then you're going to feel like you have to work through lunch as well. I mean, it's just because the economy is so bad out there, jobs aren't really plentiful out there. To feel like they're going to get an upper edge on everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, it's almost a catch-22.
It
Would
is
you agree?
sometimes, but you have to work smart, right? You don't always have to, you know, not everything has to be delivered at 110 or 120%. And sometimes when you're asked to do more, sometimes you have to figure out what you can get rid of. Because work, you need to be part of the social circle at work to really evolve your career. They don't really often, you know, sitting in the office isn't necessarily going to get you promoted.
Right. And another tip was learn something.
Yeah, you know,
it's kind of broad.
Yeah, I know, and I really mentor a lot of interns and people coming out of school. I just did a big intern program, and once you get done with your formal education, your degree, you've got to keep learning. You've got to keep learning to keep yourself marketable. Take a class, read online. There's plenty of things online you can do to really keep yourself up on things, and then you can use social media to really establish yourself as an expert.
And isn't that learning, doesn't that build your self-esteem or your self-worth when you're at the office, that you have more to give or you feel better about yourself?
Absolutely. I have plenty of friends that maybe didn't necessarily need their master's, but they went and got their master's in the way of thinking, the way that they really train you to think about the business aspect of your job. And I think it really helps to stay educated and advance yourself in your career.
We only have about a minute and a half left. Change the scenery.
Oh, yeah. So sometimes you just
don't go to work.
That'd be great.
Go bring your computer on the beach.
Yeah, but I don't know about you working with your husband. I mean, sometimes you go to a coffee shop, sometimes you go work in a conference room, sometimes just get out for an hour and go get an errand done, just to get some different energies involved and really get out of the office and try to like tap into some other areas to be more productive.
And she and I both work out of our homes, so
Right.
that's a
Yes.
little bit easier. But I would think that even working at home, you
Yep.
can get in a work
You
rut
can.
at home because it seems like you're stuck in this house.
Right.
You got to take care of this. You got to take care of that. There are more and more people actually working
Right.
out of their home.
And some people, you know, instead of going to lunch, they go and work at a coffee shop, or they come in an hour later, but they go work at a coffee, just to sort of feel like you're in the mainstream of things. Just really trying to diversify your day so you tap into new energies to get yourself motivated to get going.
I like that. I'm going to implement that. Like, today we're going to go work here. Today we're going to go work here. You know, just to change it up. I'm going to try that one right away.
Yeah, great.
And lastly, we all, like at 2, 3 o'clock, we feel like we're a little bit fried. Do you
Right.
just suggest not even taking your computer, just going out, again, whether it's in an office or at your home, just go out and take a 10-minute break?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to always just kind of get away from the computer screen, clear your mind, and then go back to it. Because I find if I try to drive through those times, I'm not as productive.
Well, I'm happier today. Thank you so much. If you want to go on her website, purposefulwoman.com for her contact information. JJ, thank you so much.
you
As
so
always,
much.
wonderful information.